If you're watching this video, you probably love BFDI. However, if you love BFDI, you probably don't love Spongy. Spongy is not a very popular character nowadays, but back from Season 1 to early BFB, Spongy was one of the most popular characters in the show. So what happened to him that makes him so unpopular nowadays as opposed to back then? Well, let's start by looking at what made me and everyone else love him at first. Back in Spongy's prime, which me and probably most other people would say is from his first rejoin in BFDI 14 all the way until BFB 12. During this time, he was a guy who got bullied a lot by the other contestants, most notably by Match and Pencil, who created a game called Spongy Cake, which is basically a game meant to bully Spongy. He was always treated as expendable and a tool by the other contestants. They never had any problem sacrificing him to be used as fuel for a spaceship or force him against his will to fall on his face on top of a bunch of spikes to be used as a platform for all his teammates. However, despite being treated so badly by everyone, he was still a fun guy who always did his own thing and still liked to have fun. Being a character who's still so carefree despite being bullied by everyone, we got some amazing scenes from him, such as in BFDIA 5E, where he tries to make a joke but it just doesn't land, and Pen thinks he's being serious and he has to clarify that he was kidding. Or in BFB 5, where he is seen playing Spongy Cake with Match, and Spongy Cake is the game that Match created to bully Spongy, and here it is being played by Spongy and enjoyed by Spongy, and that's just amazing. You can't do that with any character other than Spongy. And he also had an amazing scene in BFB 12 where he's listing his hobbies, which include tightrope walking, flying in balloons, and sailing airplanes. How can you mess up a character this perfect? Well, let's talk about the Lava Trilogy. Yeah, the Lava Trilogy was the beginning of the downfall of this character, unfortunately. He didn't do much in BFB 13, but he had a huge role in episodes 14 and 15. In 14, he abandons his team to escape the lava, leaving the rest of his team to die in the lava, and then says it was because his team didn't realize he was replaced in BFB 12 during the Imposter Challenge. He flies away in his spaceship from BFDI 20 and leaves his team behind. This action made Spongy super hated. Everyone thought he was overreacting to his team failing to realize he was replaced in episode 12, and that betraying them in episode 14 was just selfish. But there was still some hope. This was the same episode that redeemed Book, so maybe Spongy will redeem himself in BFB 15. Nope, BFB 15 released and definitely didn't help Spongy's reputation. He spends the episode absolutely gunning for Puffball for no reason, just repeatedly shooting a bunch of cannonballs at her. His team would end up losing the challenge that episode, and Spongy received a record-breaking 22,000 elimination votes of the 39,000 that were casted. That was an unprecedented number, as the highest number of elimination votes a character had received in a single elimination prior to this was Loser with 12,000. But then the split happened in BFB 16, and Spongy didn't really get eliminated because he was just brought to the BFB side of the split, where he did get eliminated second. He did absolutely nothing during the episodes he was competing in post-split BFB. Spongy does get a good amount, however, in the last 3 episodes, 28 through 30. But honestly, I would have rather Spongy stayed in the background because he's so annoying in these episodes. His big moment in the finale, BFB 30, is this scene here.
I was relaxing here.
Will you tell anyone where I hid the BFDI? Is this gonna be a problem?
I won't tell anyone if I can just relax here in peace.
Sure thing.
Then my lips are sealed.
Quick, everyone! Or slowly. We're not exactly in a rush here.
What? Curses! You're somehow caught up quick. Too bad you'll never know where I hid the BFDI.
Purpleface hid it under a chair at the back of the bus.
You said you wouldn't tell anyone about that, Goober.
I said I wouldn't as long as I could relax in peace, and you broke that deal, dum-dum.
I'm sorry, I hate this scene so much. It just encapsulates how much Spongy had been ruined. He used to have a distinct personality, but now he's just sarcastic and friendly just like everyone else. He had none of the charm that made him so good in the first place. So yeah, Spongy in BFB was quite bad, but not all hope is lost because on September 1st, 2023, BFDIA episode 6 finally came out after 10 years of this season being seemingly dead. Now when I first saw the episode title when it came out, that BFDIA is finally returning after all this time, my first thought was, what are they going to do with Spongy? And I'm sure that's what everyone else was thinking too. And thankfully, Spongy is good in BFDIA 6. He doesn't get the most screen time, but I like the callback to BFDI 21 and how he was kind of silly and not the smug annoying guy he was in BFB. BFDIA 7, however, isn't great for him. All he does in the episode is take jabs at Coiny, which, don't get me wrong, is deserved, but that shouldn't be all Spongy does. BFDIA 8 is a step in the right direction for him. I like how he has no shame admitting that he's the only one who ate his asbestos cake. And they set up a reconciliation between Spongy and Coiny. And as I was writing this, BFDIA episode 9 released. It's an amazing episode, and more importantly, a pretty good Spongy episode. He was funny here, but what he's lacking is an amazing episode, like he had in BFB 12 or BFDIA 5C. I truly believe that Spongy is just one great episode away from being just as popular and beloved as he was back in the day. And while he was funny in BFDIA 9, he just wasn't amazing. So yeah, Spongy went from an amazing character to a terrible character to an alright character in new BFDIA. The new BFDIA episodes are definitely taking Spongy in the right direction, which is good, but he hasn't had an amazing episode yet, and while he has good moments, they've been few and far between, as opposed to back before BFB's Lava Trilogy, where almost every time Spongy was on screen he had a funny and memorable moment. Considering how he was bottom 2 in BFDIA 7 and 9, I really hope he actually makes it to the merge this season because he is one of the characters who is just in desperate need of a win. But if he got eliminated, considering how he's nowhere near as good as he once was, I honestly wouldn't be too mad. But I do have hope that the new BFDIA episodes will finally do Spongy some justice. Anyway, thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next one.